Actually, Tony, you mentioned earlier business development courses, and I remember when I did a business development course, a sales process course at the time. I have to admit, this is a while ago. But what it enabled me to do was to put a zero after my sales value. So instead of at the time it was like everything was measured in dollars. So $100,000 deals, I was able to do every now and then $1 million deal. So that was a quantifiable improvement in my skills at that time. Is that something that other people see as well? Have you quantified what the value is that you can actually deliver to your customer?
I think I just want to reinforce something Claire said. You can have all these public domain reference numbers from the Institute of whatever personnel about transition. The best numbers are the numbers that come from your client. We teach value propositions, and if you can start to ask them what they think it's worth and get those numbers and play them back to them, they can't deny the numbers because they came from them. Yeah. So to Claire's point, it is about asking intelligent questions early in the sales cycle.
Very good, and I believe that it's the only one that can answer that is your customer. Ask as many customers how do we deliver value? What is the delivery? But try to quantify it. And this is in a lot of we talk about sometimes about persona building, which in marketing is a great term. But what a lot of people forget to do is, aside from saying, okay, my customer likes this, is this kind of profile, that type of brand of toothpaste, quantify it. That's the real key element here, because that will enable you much easier to set that price. Any other comments or questions on that? In that case, what I will do is I will go to the next part, which is pricing strategies. There are quite a few different strategies out there on pricing models that we can show and share. So let's have a look at what those options are. Creating value. Actually, one way to do that, sorry, this is still a slide of the previous topic. You can look at some value drivers. You can take a screenshot of this if you like. What the value drivers are, you can rate that. When you ask your customer, this is maybe one format to use in that. And if we look at pricing options, you can base your price, and a lot of people have done this based on cost, based on value. We just talked about that. A lot of people do base their pricing based on the competition. And then I'm a little bit more confident that my course is better, so I'll be 10% higher than the competition, or competition pretty good, I'm going to undercut them a bit, 10% lower. We did some research, actually, not in the UK, but in another country where I was at the time, and that was exactly the way that people were pricing, and that was just not a sustainable way of doing it. Based on growth, so I want to grow very fast. Maybe I need to penetrate the market very quickly, and therefore put in a lower pricing level to steal away market share. You can price based on variable costs. So a good example of this used to be, or is still, airlines. Once the airline has sold enough seats in a plane to cover all the costs, all the fixed costs, the pilot, the maintenance, the plane itself, all the staff, etc., then every additional seat is actually profit. So if you take that model, let's say that you need to sell 100 seats in a 120-seat plane to cover your costs, then the 20 seats you can actually sell for little money. So that's one way to do that. Or you can just try and maximize your profit. So take out all costs, look at cost reductions, etc. This is where a good example of this is when we talk about blended learning. We'll come to that as well. But these are some methods that you can use. Another, if you then look at pricing strategies, there are quite a lot of different strategies. I'm not going to go through all of this list, but I just want to highlight a few that are more and more popular. I think bundles is something that a lot of training companies are very familiar with. You can bundle different things. You can bundle a course with a hotel package. You can bundle a lot of different courses that you deliver and make one price for it, enterprise type pricing. You can, yeah, there's lots of different elements in that. Bundle the book with the course. There's lots of different examples that we've already seen. What becomes more and more popular nowadays is subscription models. Now, a subscription model lowers the cost for a person if you, let's say, charge a monthly price. So for instead of £120 a year, I'm charging you £10 a month. And for £10 a month, we kind of try to keep you engaged. Now, what a lot of companies have not managed well in their subscription models is that you need to keep adding value into that. So you need to keep creating content in training provider terminology. Always something new, because if I've been 1 year paying my subscription and then the second year I don't really see anything new coming into it, there will be a lot of churn. So a lot of people will leave you as a customer, where you need to keep doing that content.
Yeah, Jan, I have just a thought as well. I had a conversation last week with an organisation. So they have their clients, but what they're really concerned about was the retainment of those as well. So it was a case, what we were discussing is it's like having an alumni. How can I maintain that alumni in their business? So we were working with them on a different proposition. It wasn't freemium, but what it was able to do was that they have the training, they have the learning over here, should we say, on the left-hand side. And what we were looking at is how they can repurpose the resources in the course, then to keep them, we talk always about skill fade, but what they were able to do in the models that we're looking at is to give them those sort of top-ups at no other cost to them as well. So it basically kept the alumni retained, interested, and then ready then for new programs of activities that was going to come down their way, just to maintain that sort of membership, which was quite an interesting one. We've actually got to the bottom of it and solved that for them. But it was quite an interesting way of how to, once you've got a client, it's keeping that, retaining that, and the different ways that you can do that with inside the pricing strategy. So there's many different examples. I just wanted to try and bring some of those to life, obviously, with an example. So back to you. Sorry.
No. It's a great example. Actually, in our membership business, we see this a lot because membership organizations, associations, clearly have that. Historically, have had the either the luxury of a lot of members, but retaining members has always been a very difficult one. And you'll see as a trend in the membership world that delivering training to members is a key element nowadays. If not a membership value, then as a revenue generator. Mm-hmm. So deal a lot, yes. Any people that have in the audience that have a particular question on one of the strategies that are shown here? They are all very clear. I'm very happy with that.
There's got to be one killer question, Jan, that we can put us off our strip here. So I challenge anyone to put a really killer question in the chat that we can answer.
I was going to ask a simple one, Paul. What's freemium?
Okay, Jan, would you want to take that one?
Of course, freemium. Yep. Between free and premium. So imagine one of our customers did this the other day. On a base level, you get a free access to, for example, as a member of an association, you get free access to the learning, and the learning has one or a few basic courses in there. If you want to have the advanced courses, you have to pay for the advanced courses. So then you have to start paying for your membership, or you have to start paying for that subscription. And you see that on subscription, you see either flat rate or tiered. So a flat rate could be you always pay £10 for your subscription per month, or if you want access to more content, or you want access to a personalized approach. That could be, for example, you get online learning as the flat subscription. And then if you want access to me as the instructor, you pay extra for that per month. So there's different ways you can do that. Does that answer your question?
Good. Not such a killer question, but any more than happy to take that. And there's more things I can share with you around the freemium models that we've done for different organizations when they want to show more value to their customers as well. But I won't distract obviously from this meeting, but I'll share that with you later.
I always think that the most brave one is the pay what you want. That's excuse me. That's always a scary one, I'd say. With regards to pricing strategies, I'll leave that for now. Just wanted to maybe give you some other resources that might be relevant for you when we done the case study as well. So we talked about earlier, we talked about the move, and Andrew talked about this, the change from instructor-led to blended. And I just want to give you a cost example. Now, please, this is a model, and a model is a simplified version of the truth. So you will say, oh, well, wait a minute, there's many different costs or different elements that play a role, but as a simple version. Imagine there is a 2-day course, 2-day sessions, hotel locations all over the country. This is actually based on a customer of ours, so these numbers are true. He, in this case, delivered about 4 times a month these 2-day sessions. They always have 10 delegates, and they're pretty good actually. They always get 10 delegates, so never less than that. The interesting part is that this customer, he only works 9 months a year. So this is all based on 9 months of delivery. It's one particular course he delivers. And he charges in the classroom version. Oh, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. In the classroom version, he charges £250 for the 2 days. There are 40 delegates a month, 10 per session, 4 times a month. So you can see the revenue here very clearly. And I annualized it, or in his case, over 9 months. So in a year, he trains 360 people. Generates about £90,000 with that. And then, of course, there are a number of costs. So in this case, brick and mortar here means renting hotel meeting rooms throughout the country, printing and shipping. He actually has a workbook, but that's not the printing and shipping so much. He has a book that he sends to the delegates, and that is part of that cost. Travel and expenses, that's usually driving by car to the hotel location and then staying there for 1 night because it's a 2-day course. He, as an instructor, the day rate is £500 per day. So there you go, £4,000 in a month. And the marketing costs is spends about £1,500 on marketing in a month. So you see there the annualized costs. And you also see that roughly turns into a profit of about 20,000 per year. If you look at that as a business, and then of course as an instructor, that's also his salary. So, when this was put into a blended format, and by the way, blended format, you will say, wait a minute, that also meant that content had to be created as online content. Yes. That took him about 10 weeks, and he worked on it about 2-3 hours a week. So that was the time he, in this case, spent to transforming what was an instructor-led course only into the relevant parts being online. Still the same amount of delegates, just to make it comparable in this case, charged a little bit less because there was an online element and he felt that he was competing with different types of customers in that case as well. So 225 in this case, revenue turned into 81,000 over the year, and the profit, because instructor now turned into a 1-day instructor time instead of 2 days. Therefore, the instructor part was delivered via Teams he uses. So spend much less on travel expenses, instructor costs, same amount of marketing, same customers they market to, so no change there, but about doubled the profit element. Now, we talked about scalability earlier in this webinar. So what happened then was that blended version, which you see the same things on the left-hand side, then was scaled up. Basically, he doubled his marketing effort. You can see marketing now has changed to £3,000 instead of 1,500 per month. He didn't get double the number of learners. He got, instead of 4 sessions a month, he does now 7 sessions a month. So still 10 delegates, because that's a good number that you can keep control of in an online environment as well. And still works 9 months. 3 months off is very important. He likes hiking, so does that. And you can see how that changed the profitability element. So once you're in a blended environment, it's much easier to scale up, and the price element you can play with. You can do different things with, of course, but in this case, I think it was really different delivery model that made a big difference and allow for the price to have more flexibility. Just as an example. I see we're out of time. Thank you. Any last minute questions? Again, very clear. If you want more resources, very quickly, here you go. We will email this to you as well. There are more resources. The next Blended Stories webinar like this is on 12 September. It will be about how AI impacts training businesses. 5th of October, we actually have the Business of Training Conference. That's an event in London, Bloomsbury, London. It will be about how AI impacts training businesses more in depth. And if you are interested in more of the pricing strategy, on the 20th September, there's actually a pricing strategy workshop. You can sign up for that. So those are some of the elements. With that, I'd like to thank you very much and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Thank you, everybody, for turning up today. I will be in contact to get some sort of feedback from yourself as well, because that'd be really helpful. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Have a glorious lunch wherever you are in the country or internationally. Thank you so much. Speak soon.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
all.
Very much.